Oh, yeah. John, you ignorant slut. Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 3, which is also possibly the last episode of ACES Radio. We want to welcome you in. Thanks for joining us against your better judgment. You've made a terrible decision, and how dare you? How you been, John?
Pretty good.
How's everything going on your end?
Lovely, as usual. Worse now that I'm with you, but...
How dare you? Well, ignorant sluttery aside, today's a very special day, John.
It is.
Yeah. Do you know why?
Actually, I don't. Last time it was my birthday. What is it this time?
Here's a little bit of a spoiler.
Okay. I'm waiting.
What's that?
What is that?
Oh, my God.
Ooh. I don't hate this. Is this the new intro song?
Yeah, this is the New Zealand national anthem.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I remember this from the World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining the program for the first time,
Probably the last.
possibly the last time,
Yeah.
Gregulator 614 himself, Mr. Greg Benson. Everybody give him a round of applause. Welcome in
Bravo.
to the show, Greg.
Thank you. I actually did have to stand up and put my hand over my heart and to the.
I saw that.
Contractually obligated as an Australian.
I am. Jackbooted thugs will turn up at my door if I don't.
No one knows
I don't know what that means.
They can find. Look it up in a book.
Yeah, you and your European socialism. So, first of all, welcome, Greg. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
I'm shocked it took you 2 episodes of ACES Radio to come on board.
I didn't want you to think that I was following you all the time, Morgan.
I told you I saw him outside the window.
Well, that's why I got that restraining order, yeah. So, also newsworthy. Greg, we're very excited to have you.
Sure.
John and I have been really excited. Are you buying any of this?
Not for a second.
Okay, good, because this is not fun. I'm not excited about this at all.
No.
We got a new board, a new mixer board. It is so damn futuristic, and we literally took it out of the box like 5 minutes ago.
I feel like I'm on the bridge of the Enterprise right now.
Yeah. But you're actually in the conference room at the Tifo Sweatshop.
Yep.
Yep.
Almost as cool.
Yeah.
Almost.
We are recording live from the Tifo Sweatshop because we got work to do this week, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the mixer board. We have new mixer board. We have new we have new microphones. We have a lot of stuff. So please bear with us while we learn how to use technology.
Yeah, it's a big investment for what is the last show possibly ever.
Right. Well, if you're going to go out on top.
That's what I
Go out in
always say.
style.
Yeah, go out in style.
Yeah.
Speaking of going out in style, something the Columbus Cruisers FC have not done pretty much at all this year.
No.
And Saturday was another example of what a huge embarrassment failure our season has been thus far. And raise your hand if you're ready to break down the tape on that exciting match.
No hands are up.
For those of you not watching on television, no one's raising their hand here at Tifo Sweat.
Yeah.
I'm actually sitting on my hands to prevent from any mishaps.
John cut his hands off.
Mine are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Glenn just came in and took them away.
Thank God for corporate sponsor blood.
Yeah.
We've gotten rid of urine. We've taken blood, and we're excited to go forward with that relationship. I don't know what the hell to say about this game because I only got to watch the first half.
That's good.
Yeah, is it?
Yes.
I'm taking your word for that.
No, as someone who fell asleep during this match,
Oh God.
you don't want to watch it.
I had to. It was cool to see it on Fox, right? Fox.
Was it on Fox?
It was.
I have no
was.
idea.
Yeah.
It was audio troubles and all.
The audio trouble was hilarious.
Yeah,
Yes.
but that was short-lived, right?
It was short-lived, but people will remember that. Mostly
I don't know.
Because
We turned the audio off at Hendox really quick. So
Well, yeah, because, we got to listen. I can't remember who it was that tweeted it, but somebody mentioned Neil Sika and Dwight Burgess beatboxing because that's exactly what it sounded like.
At first, it was weird because when the coverage started, you thought that beat was just kind of like a ramp up audio thing that was intentional, and then as like the shot of the stadium, and then Neil and Dwight started talking, you're like, oh, this isn't intentional.
this is just it.
But I tweeted out I'm like, if we're gonna have audio complete failure on an audio side, at least it was a sick beat.
Yeah,
You
right.
know? Like it wasn't,
It's like somebody invited Sector Latino up into the booth and just like the drums were just going
Yeah.
constantly.
Except nobody was chanting Chicago Fire the entire time and relentlessly not stopping. Yeah. You'll get that joke later, Greg. It was very funny.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Once you go home, you'll laugh.
We're still
about
trying to teach him humor.
Nor on tour totally won the stands though.
Yeah.
No goals was scored.
Oh, we
by
heard them
either
on.
side.
I heard them on the broadcast.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no. All jokes aside, they
won the
traveling
shit
support
out of
was
the stands.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As it should be. Chicago.
Big, again, I said it last week, I'll say it again, big shout out to Crew Union, to Robert Rovick, specifically from Crew Union, for putting together another awesome Northern tour. They actually didn't get a bus through whatever the hell that bus company was. It gave a shit bus.
It wasn't shit bus.
Yeah, they went
It
through
was literally Fun Bus.
Yes. And they had
It was Wi-Fi bus.
It said fun on the side of it.
they had Wi-Fi.
Oh, it actually said fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what you're in for then.
Greg, you're screaming into
Yeah,
the microphone.
you are
sorry.
too
Jesus
loud.
I'm
Christ.
sorry.
Jesus, it's not a shrimp on the Barbie. Back your mouth off of it.
He's just, you know what? They should stop cooking those Barbie dolls because I've heard about it. I'm assuming that it happens in Australia.
Oh, there's a lot of
It's a
carcinogens in that
terrible
melted
joke.
plastic.
I want to punish myself for that. It's very bad.
That was awful.
Yeah.
At least he's being
It was
fair
like a
with the sound
stepdad
bites.
joke.
It
It's something a
was.
stepdad says.
Stepdads on the weekends?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my upcoming website. So Nor on Tour did really well. They won the stands. I heard them chanting. So aside from the game, if we were NYCFC or Detroit City or Orlando City, that would be a win. The only kind of win they care about. Winning the stands.
Who are Detroit City now?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Or a certain club out west who have not only no wins,
Salt Lake?
no points. They'll win the stands all the time. They'll tell you at
Yeah.
the top of their lungs that they did.
It's
0
one
and
of
3.
the Crew have 1 point after 3 games. That sucks, right?
That's awful.
But Seattle has 0 points.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is cause for celebration. And everyone is excited. By the way, we have a new like a radio drop app. This is why you're hearing so many of them. It's really great. Yeah. So, that's fun, right?
The fan will pick us up any moment.
Oh, yeah. Because they love covering Major League Soccer so much. Speaking of Seattle, we just got off a conference call with the United States Soccer Federation for the upcoming Tuesday Guatemala-United States game. John, this is called a teaser because we're going to deal with that in segment 3.
Is that what that is?
Usually you do teasers at the end of segments, Greg.
Is
But
that how that
there
works?
are no rules here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We can just do whatever we want. I could tease like 5 episodes from now. If we did that many shows.
What a
I mean, no
tease.
rules is kind of how I roll, being Australian and, Outback Steakhouse commercials and all.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just proud that you wore a shirt to this.
Yeah,
I'm proud that
congratulations.
I wore a shirt to this, too. It's like 60 degrees in here. What are you going to do?
You found that on the way to work, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. So this is this segment is just completely random and crappy because what the hell could we honestly talk about when it comes to the game?
There's nothing to talk about. There was like no shots.
No.
There were some, but none of them were on target.
Kai Kamara with 0 shots.
We only had 4 on target all day.
Yeah.
Kamara had 4 guys around him almost every
Yeah,
time
they
he
played
had the
that.
ball.
They played that 3 center back formation, and they're smart as hell because he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
He
So
had a
what-
dude on him the whole time.
How do you solve that?
He put on Ola Kamara.
So is it just
You got to
depth-
put somebody else on there to
depth
draw
by
those guys
1,000
out.
forwards?
Yeah, if they want to play 5-man back line, then you can go a little more offensive, I think. I mean, I don't know. I want to know where Ola is. He's not even on the bench.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be really good. Frankie wouldn't stop talking about him. Where's he at?
Jesus God, Frankie would not stop.
Larson
talking about
finally
him.
got on, but it was pretty much too late at that point to do anything.
Larson came on in what, the 85th minute?
Yeah, that's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying. Like we used 2 subs, one of which was with 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes left. I don't know what we were waiting for.
I didn't see any of the second half because I had to go to a wedding for one of Pam's friends.
Ugh.
These two got
Always with the
married.
weddings.
Yeah, I know. Oh, tell me about it.
Why?
These two got married in Mexico like 3 months ago.
What?
Yeah.
You were already at this wedding?
No, I didn't go. Of course not. I don't care about them. I actively wish divorce upon them. I hope their marriage is unsuccessful and failure is the result. And
Yeah,
they
we don't love
contract
these
many
hoes.
sexually transmitted diseases.
Happens all the time.
So they had this like reception, like Columbus reception. It was just dinner. It was just 3-hour dinner.
What?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I can. The last wedding I went to with Pam, it was like Montreal 2 years ago away, and I just watched the game the entire time at the table on my phone, and that was fine, But this wedding was at some sort of crypt on Front Street.
Oh, there's no reception.
Nope, none. Seven.
Was it the View?
It was some wine thing. I don't know. It was like a winery, but it's not. I hate when places in Columbus call themselves wineries. You're downtown Columbus. You're in the brewery district. There's no
vineyards around.
Yeah.
No.
Even if there were, nobody would want to drink that, John.
No.
So
It's called cooking wine.
I didn't see the second half. How did Larson look in the limited time that he was?
He looked like nothing.
Yeah.
You could have subbed anybody out there, really. I mean, honestly, Greg, what do you think?
No, I didn't see enough of Larson and of course, a guy who comes on with 5 minutes to go in a game where nobody's got any kind of spark.
Yeah.
There's no there's no gusto going forward. And
I mean, unless you're subbing on a Ronaldo or a Messi, no one's going to go out there and change the game with that little amount of time, I think.
even somebody like a Giovinco or someone,
Yeah.
who, he had his go to try and turn a game around over the weekend as well, and didn't seem to have it.
It's just another example of a game that we dominate statistically and come away with basically. I mean,
That's why statistics are so unreliable in soccer because of this. Like, this is three examples, or well, not necessarily three, but two examples right in a row where we dominate things like possession and technically shots and whatnot, but we came out with nothing.
I feel like
Two
we should
games.
have.
we did get a point.
There were a couple of shots that were taken from outside the area, which I thought
Yeah,
were,
John talked about that
that's-
last week. And
Finally.
I saw somebody
that's
do
a
it.
way, that's a way. I feel like somebody should have scouted the opposing goalie, to get to know
Possibly
who
if he would have played for a team close to Columbus.
Maybe if he'd been around the stadium a few times before and
That's why I
sort of
s-
learn
yeah.
what his weaknesses are. But
No, shots from outside the 18, I've been saying since we started this show, are something we desperately need. And when especially like that, like I said, it's more defensive. Those guys want to pack it in the box and make it so Kamara can't get anything. Start blasting it from outside. Lampson's not that good. He was third string here for a reason.
not to mention that's the avenue that you take when you can't find the finesse to break down what's essentially a 5-man backline.
Yeah.
Maybe I
when
don't
you
know
can't-
enough about soccer, but how do you do it if all of their players are goalies?
No.
What the hell do you do?
That's what it
It's
is.
not
Teams have gotten really good at just hanging back, filling up the 18-yard box with players, and making Columbus attack them and try and break them down. And they just don't have the technical prowess to do it. So why not bomb one from distance?
Yeah.
Chicago had 4 shots, John.
Yeah, one
Four.
on target.
One on target.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
It's not an easy task to shoot from that distance, but you have to. You have to start doing it. Otherwise, everyone knows you'll never do it, so there's no incentive for them to step out of the box to pressure you because they know you're not going to shoot. So they'll just stay packed in. And granted, then I don't know, we're in a tough spot because we really don't have that many people who have a good distance shot. I mean, we have Merrim's hook shot, which is pretty much all he can kind of do.
Yeah.
And we have Higuain. And I mean, Tony's hit a few here and there that were looked nice, but people just got to start doing it more.
Speaking of Merrim, one of the most frustrating things to watch sometimes is a guy who plays on the left wing and has no left foot whatsoever. I get the concept of an inverted winger. Sometimes it can work really well for you, especially if the guy's really good at, sort of turning on a dime, putting in a cross. But that's Justin Merrim's game, period.
Well,
Is switching it to his right foot and either taking a shot or trying to get the cross in. It's maddening.
the plan there is that it doesn't matter he doesn't have a left foot because he shouldn't really be. Those in-swinging crosses should be made by Francis.
Yeah.
Is
Right.
the point.
Yeah.
And he cuts into the center a lot, and that's why he's out there. He's not out there to make those left-footed in-swinging crosses.
And also, to be fair to Justin Merrim, the meat hook is not all he has, Greg. I saw him pass the ball out of bounds at least 3 times in the first half last week.
For a second there, I was thinking, wait a second, what bizarro world is this?
I know it's been a couple
where
of months
Morgan is defending.
since we've been on the
Justin
show
Merrim.
together, but Jesus.
I know, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
I was frustrated with a lot of people on Saturday. Justin Merrim and Tony Chani stuck out to me specifically. It felt like 2012 because I was screaming at Chani and Merrim
I
on
don't
television.
know. I thought Chani was one of the best on the field for the crew.
Well, of course you did, because you're wrong about almost everything, almost all the time.
Morgan, go play in traffic.
How dare you? The thing is, Chani is, and I've said this for a long time, Chani is really good at his strengths. Obviously, that's almost an absurd statement. Everybody's strong at their strengths, but really good players their weaknesses are not weak when compared to average players. Like Johnny, to do this system effectively, you need to, when presented with space, get into that space if you have the ball. When possible, advance the ball into space.
Yeah.
And it was very obvious when Chani was, leading that breakaway.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a lack of confidence
slow
or lack of
sometimes.
understanding. Well, yeah, he's not fast, but there were times when there was space that he needed to step into with the ball. Just keep dribbling.
Yeah.
He's always looking for the pass, which isn't a bad thing, but if you don't have a pass and there's space and they're retreating, you keep pressing forward and make them step to you,
That's what
which
I was
then
trying to
creates
say.
more space
You
behind
have,
them.
You have to get into that space to make the defenders acknowledge you physically, because that is what opens up your lanes to pass to guys that would have otherwise been covered by the guys that are now covering you.
Yeah.
If someone's backpedaling away from you, I've always been of the opinion that you should just keep running at them. Don't pass it. If they're willing to keep retreating, you keep taking the space they're giving you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is what kind of upset me with Chani specifically. I thought early in the game, watching Higuain, I was like, that dude's going to do something stupid today, like stupid good.
Yeah.
And
We need something like that. Either from him or someone. Someone needs at this point needs to step up and say, okay, get on my back.
yeah,
We got used to Ethan Finley being that guy last year, and Finley, for the third game in a row, was virtually invisible.
he does that, doesn't he? He just
Yeah,
kind of
he does.
disappears.
I wonder if part of it, and I hate to think about it this way, I wonder if part of it is he bought into his own hype. He gets the U.S. call up. He gets, he gets a little bit more respect. No, I mean, I'm not saying that he got a big head or anything like that, but okay, fine. I'm not saying he became
People don't like you, Greg.
this egomaniac overnight. They never liked me before. I'm not saying he became this egomaniac overnight. After getting a call up for the U.S. national team and having a good first game, but there is that mentality sometimes that hey, I'm playing on a higher level now. I have to be better, and you kind of pressure yourself into mistakes and into playing poorly. I
think
wonder
that's
if that's part of it.
Wondolowski-itis.
Could be.
I believe that's what that's called.
He has
I'll never
Wando.
forgive you for
Well,
that sitter that
He's
you
got
missed.
a week and a half, 2 weeks now, where he's going to be with the team because he got called up.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe he'll get some playing time.
No.
I don't think so either,
No.
but
It's not possible.
maybe that breaks him out of his funk.
It's kind of crazy.
A goal or an assist in a U.S. game would be good to come back with.
I always say I don't know that much about soccer, which is pretty inconvenient, in terms of doing this show. But I know in basketball,
Here we
the
go
real
again.
sport, I know in basketball, John, that when you are shooting poorly, first of all, you absolutely have to shoot your way out of a funk. And one of the ways you do that is you get to the free throw line. What is
there isn't one of those in soccer.
What is this? Oh, thank you, celebrity fan John Zidar. Jesus, I've learned so much in such a small amount of time sitting with your dumb ass. How many? What's the equivalent in soccer?
A penalty kick?
Penalty?
Is it? Those are so rare, though.
You're only going. No, well, not if you're Kaká.
Okay, so then then it would just be shooting from anywhere and everywhere, which he doesn't do. He's never been one to do that. He's always one to look for the pass. He's like Chani.
I mean, what about? I'm literally asking this, a real question. Is it a practice thing? Do you practice shooting the ball?
No, goals in practice don't do anything for you.
It's not a thing.
No, you need to score in a game. To
That's
get your confidence back. You can score as many
yeah.
goals you want in practice.
No,
based
absolutely.
on how many penalty kicks we have had recently, I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon.
Well, he doesn't take them anyways. No, he just needs to start shooting.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Well, there's the solution. ACES Radio, yet again, coming through with the hot takes. And
You're welcome, Berhalter. We know you listen.
Yeah. There's a fever. The only prescription is more ACES Radio, which, ladies and gentlemen, is coming up in segment 2. We will be right back. John is taking his genitals out for some reason, so we're going to deal with that. Greg is looking at him open-mouthed, which I'm concerned about. So we're going to deal with our bad things, and we'll be back right after a message from our corporate sponsors over at Blood.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Now we blasting off into the ozone. The way we kick it in the dojo is local for show. That we paving the road that's opposed to the dojo. Going over your head like a top hat. Stop that. I know you hear me spitting these hot raps. Now watch that beat, cause it's about to drop. The Rockets is the 09 jump off. Yeah, your last name Pan, first name Peter. I know you see me playing and you want me to teach you, but I say elevated so that all God's creatures can hear me shout it out like my name is Aretha. Getting RESPECT. Fly by, see the looks on your faces, cause I'm in full EFF
John, I'm glad to see you put your genitals back in your pants. Really, really proud of you as a friend. That was a wise choice.
I don't know. We were getting so intense and heated in conversation. I thought maybe the sex would start happening.
Nobody was impressed with the length or
Greg
the girth.
looked impressed.
No, he didn't.
No.
That's just a dumb face that he makes.
It is.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah. So welcome back, everyone, to segment 2 of episode 3, possibly the last episode, John, of ACES Radio. We're glad to have you. Want to give a big shout out to our corporate sponsors over at Blood. Their tagline, John, I'm told, is Blood. You don't have a choice. It's just fucking there.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is true. And
It's real catchy.
It's very true.
I'm a customer for life, John. I don't know about you. So last week, this is kind of, we told you this show is going to evolve as it happens. We don't plan things because that sucks and it's a lot of work. And that's not what this is about. So last week we talked to Sean Kelly, and that got a really good, positive response from the many tens of listeners. So we wanted to keep that kind of segment going. The original intention tonight was to have Srikanth Mecca on the program because we're doing Tifo Sweat tonight, and I think this is the first Tifo Sweat that Shrek has ever missed in his life.
Well, it's not over. There's still time.
No, it's definitely over. We're done sewing and cutting.
From segment 1 to segment 2, we're done.
Done with what?
Tifo.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's because we weren't helping tonight. We were just kind of like...
The process moves so much faster,
Yeah.
apparently.
It's a
when-
lot more
when you
enjoyable
guys aren't there.
when you don't do it.
Well, we're not out there causing unnecessary drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No drama.
No, they just work.
Yeah.
No drama, no party or something?
No, Greg. You stop that right now. I don't want to
Isn't
buy
that
your
how
T-shirt.
It went?
So
Worst T-shirt ever.
with Shrek not being here, we're going to try to push his ass back to next week. Yeah, he's from India, grew up in England. I don't know much more about him than that. I met him on Reddit.
Probably a couple other countries in there somewhere.
Maybe, possibly. Illegal immigration? Definitely.
Absolutely.
Terrorist? Tune in next week to find out, kids. So, with Greg coming on...
We got to get all these foreigners out of the way before Trump becomes president. That's what we decided, right?
Exactly.
Sean,
And then the foreigners
Greg,
actually get moved
Shrek.
out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we won't be able to interview you in 6 months.
Right.
From prison. We could do a satellite show. Yeah. Just put that in the notes, John, for next week. We'll talk in between now and then. So, Greg, again, welcome to ACES Radio.
Thank
We're
you.
happy to have you here, at least outwardly.
Glad I made it in on the last episode.
Yeah, possibly the last episode ever, John. So we want to know about you. Now, you're definitely a celebrity fan.
Yes.
People know about you. They read your tweets.
I am known as Hollywood.
That's right.
You know,
You're
one
like
calls
due to
him
my due to my heel turns.
literally no one calls you that.
No, I've never
absolutely
heard
not.
that.
But you do have kind of a smell of Hulk Hogan when he went to WCW. So
Can
there's
confirm.
that. God damn it. We've gone 3 episodes and we didn't have one wrestling reference.
That's good.
It's like being at Hendocks all over again.
Yeah, I'm actually contemplating quitting now because we're talking about it.
I mean, I won't respect you any less because that's not possible. But, you know, it's
See,
your
John's
decision.
John's acting surprised, but he knew that this was in the kayfabe all along.
Yeah, we're reading cue cards right now.
Absolutely.
So, Greg, you are originally from New Zealand?
Close. In
Close.
the same way that you are originally from Canada.
You son of a bitch.
Exactly.
No, you're from Australia, which is
Yes.
a small fishing village outside of New Zealand.
It is. It's a small island.
Yeah. How did you come to be in America? First of all, you know what? I'm screwing it up. Tell us about your history with other teams, be it soccer teams. Where does your sports fandom originally come from?
Sure. Well, growing up in Sydney, it's a very cosmopolitan city, but it has a lot of. I mean, sports are really what Australia does. That's really the only way that we make ourselves known in the international community.
John and I are looking at each other. We don't agree with that.
Hang on. I understand that there are some sports that you guys play over here and that nobody else does.
Sure,
We play all of the rest
that's true.
that all of the rest of the world does. So we play soccer and rugby and cricket and
Are you
basically
claiming-
anything that the English brought over, we're into it. And then we sort of invented our own versions of that, like Aussie rules, and took that and ran with it. So we have a sport that nobody else plays too that we tend to be quite good at. But it really depends on which part of Australia you grow up in, what your preferred sport is.
How so?
Like if you grow up in, for example, cricket is pretty much the ubiquitous summer sport. That's the one that everybody plays.
Really?
Yes.
That's the baseball that lasts like 8 weeks, right?
5 months. Yeah, something like that.
Really?
That's just one game.
No, the one game will take 4 or 5 days.
Jesus.
Yes.
So that's countrywide. Everybody enjoys
that is
cricket.
nationwide. That's pretty much it's like what baseball is to Americans, or hockey is to Canadians.
At least
Just
it's
switching the
lovingly
But they
thought of.
use that paddle from Dazed and Confused that they hit the freshman in the butt with.
Exactly. That's how cricket got
Exactly.
started.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it got started.
They said, "Do you have a sport that uses this? It'd be a whole lot cooler if you did, man."
And now we do.
yeah. So everybody plays,
so
or at least
everybody-
pays attention to cricket.
Everybody either plays or watches cricket, because the thing about cricket being the 5-day sport and played throughout the day, first of all, they'll play from 10 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. So it's really just an excuse to day drink for 5 days.
NASCAR.
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah, it's our NASCAR, only it moves a lot slower. But yes, that's the sport that everybody pays attention to in summer, and what you do in the winter really depends on geography, because in Sydney it's either it's one of the two codes of rugby. It's either rugby union or rugby league. Now, when people talk about rugby, most places in the world, like the Rugby World Cup or the U.S. rugby team, something like that, they're talking about rugby union. That's the one that's the most popular.
And I'll remind you what we talked about on the break, because I feel you going down a rabbit hole from which you cannot escape. When you talk about rugby and cricket, try not to bore the listening audience literally to death. Yeah. Because
I don't want to be responsible for deaths.
You see this blood coming out of my eye sockets? That's boredom blood, Greg.
Oh, that's. I thought that was a gift from our corporate sponsor.
But continue on with your nonsense.
It was free blood from our corporate
Well,
sponsors.
we're contractually obligated to bleed from the eyes at least twice per show.
There
That's
you
true.
go.
But this is not one of those 2 times.
It's not.
Oh, okay. We have 2 others scheduled.
It does count, but this was
I need
totally
to know timing.
involved.
Unplanned.
I need to know timing of sponsor bumps.
Yeah,
and
you'll
everything like
get that.
We might clue you into this.
I'm still new.
So who is your boyhood team, if you could say, across all weird kangaroo pouch related sports that you people play over there? Yes, I mean you people.
Yes.
If you can point to one team, like I would say, Buckeyes.
Right.
Who was your team growing up?
My team growing up was the North Sydney Bears, the rugby league team. They don't exist anymore,
Do
sadly.
you guys even have bears? How did you know to name something after those?
Drop Bears.
I don't actually know. I think they were actually named after the Chicago Bears. And
Really?
It's funny because a lot of the teams in the rugby league are named after NFL teams. Like we have teams called the Raiders and the Cowboys and the Panthers and the Broncos and the
Okay.
That's weird and stupid.
There's a lot of it's either that or it's college teams. Like we have teams called the Bulldogs and the Eagles, and there's influences from all kinds of.
We have a Buckeye? Do you have a Buckeyes?
We do not have a Buckeye. I had to actually move to Ohio 12 years ago to know what a Buckeye was.
That's fair.
I knew it was called the Buckeye State before I got here, but I had no idea what that was.
Yeah, most of us don't still to this day. So what brought you to, and what year was it in which you arrived in America?
I arrived in America in 2004. My first port of arrival was Cleveland. I was there for a short while, met a woman from Sandusky, moved there. So I've been all around Ohio, with the exception of 1 year in Arizona. I've been here pretty much the whole time. Moved to Columbus about 4 years ago when my marriage ended, and settled in here basically through the crew. I've been watching soccer since I was a little kid. I've played it since I was a kid, with varying degrees of success, mostly poor. Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
I was on your Nordica Cup team last year, Morgan. You know this.
Yeah.
I've lost absolutely nothing with age because I never really had much to start with.
Yeah.
but no, I have been a soccer fan for a long time, and I knew that the Columbus Crew existed, because they were Ohio's team. I was living in Sandusky in 2008 when the team won the MLS Cup, and it wasn't treated as a victory for Ohio, but it was broadcast, and I sort of thought, a Columbus team won, an Ohio team won a professional.
It was on ABC. You can watch it.
championship. They won a professional league title, and I thought, that's really cool. So when I moved to Columbus, I thought, okay, this would be the team that I would, settle in as being my sports team of choice.
And what year did you end up in Columbus?
2012, I moved here and been coming to virtually every home game ever since.
So when it came time to move, was the Crew part of the thing that swayed you to come here? Or was it kind of I'm coming to Columbus and then I'm getting into the Crew?
It was more I'm coming to Columbus and hey, it's a nice bonus that there's a soccer team here.
Okay.
Because really, I'll be a little bit candid here. My reason for moving to Columbus was I just got a divorce. I needed a job. I needed to stay in Ohio to be close to my kids. And Columbus was it. I mean, there's nowhere else.
I feel like that's why most people end up here.
I've noticed that Columbus is home to a lot of transients, like a lot of people that I know. In fact, probably half of my circle of friends are from somewhere that isn't Central Ohio.
Yeah,
It's a welcoming city.
That's what I like about it. That's one of the things I like about it.
I mean, there's a reason, like your reason was kind of job related to a large degree, and obviously Ohio State, is, if not the magnet, it's one of possibly one of the biggest magnets in the country for people moving to a city.
Right.
But I feel the exact same way you do, especially within our Crew circles. Like, John, you probably feel the same way. Like growing up in Columbus, you don't really spend much time with people that aren't from Columbus because you're a child and you're in school.
Sure.
And then, you kind of compare that to Crew circles where it's at least half of people aren't from Columbus. And I said it last week and I'll say it again. I really like that about Columbus Crew SC is that it is a kind of a forging, something that people go to because they're going to immediately have something in common with a large number of like-minded people. You immediately have a thing where it's like, I care about the Crew, you care about the Crew, let's build off of that. Whereas, the rest of your life, you're relying on being in the same class with somebody, living in the same dorm room with someone, meeting someone at a bar. And, I drink alcohol is probably not the best. You also drink alcohol. We should be friends.
We should drink alcohol together.
Yeah. So when you got to your stage of Crew fandom that you're currently in, when you started coming to games, well, tell me about that. What was your first game like? Where did you sit? What were your general impressions as I smash my fist into the mic stand?
Well, it actually took me a while to in 2012 when I first moved here. I moved here early in the year, around March, and it took me a while before I could actually get myself straightened out to the point that I could go to Crew games with any kind of regularity. The first one that I actually made it to was, I think it was early September, and the Crew played Montreal. Came back with 2 late goals, both assisted by a brand new signing, Federico Higuain. Boy, does that seem like forever ago now.
It does, yeah.
So that was my first game that I remember, and I sat down on the sideline just outside the 18-yard area, in perfect position for Higuain's second assist to Renteria, I think it was, who scored the game winner. And I wasn't in a supporter section. I could hear the Nordeca. They were making a hell of a lot of noise, and I looked over and saw the smoke go off when the second goal went in, and heard the drums beating and heard the cheering and the chanting, and I'm like, next game that I go to, I'm going to be hanging out with those guys. And I made it back for the 2013 season opener against Philly, and I was in the Nordeca and just started talking to people. And that's how I built up. I think back to all of the friends that I've made, you guys included, to most of the jobs that I've had and the relationships that I've been in and the houses I've lived in, the roommates I've had, everybody and everything is tied back to hanging out in the Nordeca, going to Columbus Crew games, talking to people, drinking it wherever we were, and that common love that you talked about.
Yeah.
Of we don't have anything else in common except this team, but this team is a good place to start.
Sure. So So your first game, you were in some other section, and then
Yeah.
your very next game, you said, "I'm going right over there with those guys, the crazies." Did you have experience with those kind of sections and those kind of supporters previously, or be it rugby or soccer or what have you?
Yeah, it was really confined to soccer in Australia, at least growing up as a kid in the 80s and 90s. Soccer was, without getting into too much detail and causing you to bleed from your eyes, soccer was considered in Australia, at least in that time frame, to be the sport that was played by immigrants. The Greeks and Italians and Poles and Croats and Turkish people. So it wasn't really considered to be, and I know a lot of those nations are fair-skinned, but it wasn't considered by Australians to be the white man's game, like the Anglo-Saxon sport. You played rugby league or rugby union or Aussie rules or cricket or tennis or something like that, and soccer was considered a sport that you played if your parents came over from the old country where soccer was everything.
Right. Kind of a second-class citizen of sports.
It was, and in some ways it's still trying to earn that respect.
Okay.
It's still taking its time to move its way up the ladder. But what happened from that is the predecessor to the A-League that existed up until 2004 was the National Soccer League, which was largely contested by teams that were soccer extensions of social clubs for immigrant groups. So, and I know that exists worldwide, that you have, ethnicities that form their own social groups and they play against each other. But in Sydney, you had like 4 different teams that all represented 4 different ethnicities, and I wasn't from any of them. You had Sydney Olympic for the Greek immigrants, you had Sydney Marconi or Marconi Fairfield for the Italians, and Sydney Budapest and Sydney Croatia, and I wasn't for any of them, but I had friends who were, so I'd just go as a neutral and go and watch these games and hang out and listen to them doing the singing and the chanting, and occasionally flares would get set off, and occasionally they would taunt the other team's supporters, and occasionally there would be race and ethnicity that would be behind that, and things would get, I won't say violent, but they'd get pretty heated.
Yeah.
So I had a little bit of experience with that. I've certainly never done jail time for being in a riot or at a soccer game or anything like that, but I was pretty. I considered myself pretty prepared. I thought, okay, it's soccer, but they're American soccer fans. What's the worst they can do?
Right. Really,
I didn't expect too much, and so far I haven't seen too much. I've
Not in
heard
Columbus, anyway.
Right. I'm sure there. I've heard stories of
Sandwich board attacks in New York. Who can forget that?
vicious trash bag throwers.
Oh, man, you think about the ruckus that's going on down in Orlando. Hi-oh. Yeah.
No.
I was
no,
while you were
no
talking
soundboards.
to avoid the blood coming out of my eyeballs. I was you were talking about that Montreal game. That was your first game.
Yeah.
And I was like, what happened to that game? That was when I think DeVio scored in like the 70th minute or something.
Yep.
And we came back and won 2-1.
Yep.
And Higuain had that assist to Renteria.
It was like a glancing header off
Yes.
of, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes.
As
So-
Duncan Alton put it later, that bug slippery dome of his.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. That was
Yeah.
that is actually those two things are what I remember. Obviously the goal, but Duncan's call
Duncan's
about
commentary.
So
yeah.
I pulled it up, and again with the new board, we have the ability to play clips and sounds through the in the show. So I'm going to try right now to play that call. All right. So
There you go.
Okay.
So here
Let's
we go,
hear it.
John. Sounds good, right?
It's a little quiet, but it sounds good.
There you go.
Getting closer and closer to going 6 games unbeaten. Higuain, does he have magic in his socks? Still willing to run.
So some foreshadowing
Not
right
many
there.
numbers in the box. Header, it's in!
Hell yeah. Oh, there's that Renteria dance.
Yes. We need somebody
And
like
there's
that.
that Renteria dance that
There
we've
you go.
come to know and love.
Yes.
Higuain again pulling the strings. What a find he's been for Columbus Crew. I'll tell you what. You said he might have some magic in his socks. Well, he's got magic throughout his whole body. Look at this ball just whipped in, and Renteria just glanced it off that slippery, greasy dome of his.
There it is.
Unfortunately, it picked up speed over his head.
Classic
man.
Duncan Otten.
Saint Duncan.
That was good stuff.
Oh, my goodness.
First of all, Duncan, how dare you? It's Columbus Crew SC. You know, I don't care if it's in the past.
He knew that back then.
Unbelievable.
No, but that was my first Crew game, and I was instantly hooked. And seeing the energy, although it was almost completely at the other end of the stadium,
Yeah.
to see that from the Nordeca. I still have pictures on my hard drive that I brought in off my old phone that I don't have anymore, but. Yeah, still have pictures of that night, and just sort of took pictures of the Nordeca. I'm like, wow, these guys are really crazy. I want to be part of this, and who knew what it would blow up into?
You had no idea about the stupid drama fights. Mm-hmm. You just thought, hey, those loving group of friends, I want to
Can't
get
wait to
involved
go
in.
over there and make those people hate me for silly reasons.
I can't wait to passively aggressively offend every single one of them.
Yeah, as he entered the section, he could feel the subtweets in the air.
It was no. I mean, all jokes aside, it was one of the best things that I could have done because, like 2 or 3 people, and at that first Philly game the following year, I really only remember talking to maybe 3 people that day. But those 3 people became 3 more people the next game, and 3 more, and 5 more, and 10 more, and 20 more.
Usually how it happens is you run into Matt Goshert.
That actually can confirm that actually happened.
Mm-hmm. And Goshert's like, hey, you want to come drink at the bar?
You want to take a swig of this bottle of Jameson I keep in my armpit?
Yeah.
And I'll just drag you around here and introduce you to everybody.
I have a 7-gallon jug of Jameson tied to my thigh
I
with
have
duct
to
tape.
actually suckle it from my nipple.
Would you like to drink out of it?
Well, I actually found out about Hen Doc's Pub through the HSH website, because when I was looking at supporters groups online, I'm like, okay, there's the Nordeca, and there's a few different supporters groups. There's HSH, there's Crew Union, and everything. But where I lived was pretty close to Hudson Street, so I was like, oh, okay, Hudson Street Hooligan, that's my hood,
I always think it's interesting from to kind of hear an outsider's perspective, and you find this on the massive subreddit a lot. Mm-hmm. New fans will post and they're like, hey, this is my first season, or this is my first game, or I went to a game and it was really great, and I want to join a supporters group. Which one should I join? Like
you can only join one.
Right. And like they're also different, that your personality traits will only allow you to, experience.
You'll never be friends with those guys.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I've started just making up ridiculous shit about the supporters groups, and that question is asked so often, and I'm a frequent contributor to that subreddit, that like those things have now entered the Crew fandom lexicon. Like Murderers Row never leaves the parking lot, and Crew Union has a creepy child kidnapping van,
the candy van.
Yeah, and HSH is always next to the toilet because in case of aggressive diarrhea, Crew Union eats at MCL every night, which is actually true because they're old.
That one's true.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was through discovering that HSH met at Hen Doc's, I'm like, oh, well, I'm gonna go drink at Hen Doc's. Walked into Hen Doc's, did not know it was an Arsenal bar for starters. Oof. I've been following Premier League since I was in middle school, because early high school. Aston Villa fan. They played in my high school colors. They had an Australian playing for them. He was the only Aussie in the Premier League at the time. So that they became my team. I walk into Hen Doc's wearing an Aston Villa jersey. Had no idea that Aston Villa were playing Arsenal. And everybody else is in Arsenal jerseys. Of course, Aston Villa won back in the heady days of Villa winning games, and was the least popular person in a bar. I was really trying so hard to make as many friends as possible in. And I'm like, well, this is awkward. But a couple of weeks later, as the Matt Goshert thing happened, he just sat next to me, and I'm like, wait a second, I recognize your name because I've heard of, the Massive Report podcast, and I know you're on it, and that's sort of like the name power, not to pump up his ego.
Celebrity fan Matt Goshert.
Celebrity. No, but in my mind, that was, I'm like, oh wow, I'm meeting somebody who's fairly high up the tree. And
then he fell out of it.
I was gonna say the same
Hit every
thing.
branch on the way down.
God bless his heart. It's funny, I think it's actually kind of important to talk about because maybe there are potential new fans or recent converts listening to this. You can walk into Hendocks wearing a West Ham jersey. That's fine.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, you can do that, and it doesn't matter if Arsenal's playing. No one's going to kill you,
Right.
and you don't have to be.
Well, much like Arsenal, they might try, but they won't succeed.
Hi-yo. You're only going to get maybe a little bit of good-natured ribbing.
Yeah.
And that's it. And furthermore, there is not one supporters group only that's going to be right for you. That's why the Cunningham Club was created by celebrity fan Caleb Williams. That is when you join every supporters group. And as a now 3-year member of the Cunningham Club, when we decided to make it that night at Tifo Sweat, I can tell you it's pretty good.
I'm still waiting for the commemorative belt that comes with membership.
You didn't get yours?
No.
I'll check the tracking number. I'm sorry about that. I'll get on Caleb.
Are we talking belt just like regular suit pants belt, or are we talking
Don't
like?
answer that, John.
Or
You have to
you would
join.
know if you were a member.
That's right.
I'm not a member though.
Well, then you don't get to know.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on.
Nope.
I have 2 kids and I have no disposable income. I can't afford to join every support.
You want to
group.
keep those kids? Stop asking questions.
Wow.
Yeah. What is this, minute 26 of this segment that I threatened to kill your children? That was a record, John.
Yeah, we're making
Last
good
week we
time.
did not make it that far.
No.
Yeah.
Wait.
We actually hadn't even gone live yet, and
Yeah.
Sean's child was already threatened.
I said, hey, guys, welcome in. I'm going to kill your kids if you don't do this right. So, Greg, to wrap this up, to put a bow on this, compare how you feel about the crew, your involvement level emotionally, both compared to other teams that you grew up, the Calgarian Drop Bears or whatever they're called,
Yes.
and kind of how you felt about the crew when you moved to Columbus and came to that first game where Emilio Renteria's shiny dome solidified your lifelong passion. Greg, back to you.
Well, it's a little bit different in many ways to growing up, following the Bears rugby league team. That was a thing that I did that with my dad. He would take me to games. He wasn't a fan of the team, but we lived around that area, and he knew it was important to me to enjoy myself, and that was something that we did together. We bonded together over that. Nowadays, now like 25, 30 years later, I have 2 kids of my own, still working on trying to get them to a crew game. But that's, to me, that's like just a logical progression, that's become a way that I can relate to my kids. To this day, I still pick up an extra match program from every single home game to take to my daughter, because she's nuts about the crew.
Yeah.
Has never been to see them, but she's watched them on TV and online before, and she wears the T-shirt. Her prized possession is one of the pink crew hats from one of the breast cancer games
Nice.
a couple of years back. Wears it literally everywhere
Don't
she goes.
tell her that those hats suck.
I'm not going to.
Don't.
She wouldn't believe you. She wouldn't believe me if I told her
his,
they were
his
terrible.
poor taste was passed down.
Yeah. We can be sure of that.
But as far as she's concerned, that's her way of connecting to her dad as well, in the same way that I connected to my dad through the Bears.
Yeah.
It's weird how it's all different kinds of relationships.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about how easy it is to just on a friendship level make friends, but it's also like a family thing. It's crazy.
There's that too, because
And you can't sell that really. I when you first started saying that, I'm like, man, I wonder how they can market that better. Like make lifelong friends, develop closer bonds with your kids. But that would seem so campy.
it would.
Yeah.
It does seem so played out.
Well, you
but the
gotta-
other side about that. Sorry, go on.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
No, the other side of that is that me being the only person in my family, the family that I grew up with, that migrated to the U.S. I came over here on my own. I was divorced. I had nobody that I knew when I came to Columbus. I was searching for a circle, a family, friendship when I came here, and through the crew I found that. So in many respects, following this team has given me another family, and apart from the one I grew up with, apart from my children. And that is something that's special to me as well, and that ties me very closely to the team.
That's incredible because, first of all, it's just a really touching kind of
Who knew that we'd get this?
My
touchy
eyes
feeling?
are now weeping with tears.
Yeah,
instead
I'm
of blood.
still with blood. But
Yeah.
it struck me as funny because you entered crew fandom with not the intention like I don't care about the team. I'm just going to make a bunch of friends. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But it is literally the antithesis of my crew fandom experience for a long time because I wanted nothing to do with crew people. Like nothing. I never got involved. I lurked the big soccer boards, and I obviously paid attention to the team, but I wanted nothing to do with supporters culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just sounded it was just dumb
Yeah.
to me. Outside of going to Ruby's, to if I couldn't catch the game on TV and you had no choice, or it was a Saturday and you wanted to go out, I was like, no, but keep me away from this stupid drama and these people fighting each other. And it was Dos a Cero, 2013. It was Tifo Sweat that got kind of at least our group in the depths of the crap that I was actively trying to avoid for so many goddamn years.
Yeah.
So
There was
total opposite reasons or total opposite intentions, you and I, but ultimately the same destination.
my first full season, 2013. I remember I was following. I can't remember if it was HSH or just like a general support, or whether it was just the Nordeca Facebook page or something. We had a game against the Red Bulls where I was part of the fan shot photograph that we were all flipping off whoever was taking the corner for the Red Bulls right in front of the Nordeca. And there was just something about that. I saw myself in that photo, and it's not as if I was doing that to get in the picture, but when I saw myself in there, I was like,
you're in a safe place. You don't need to defend yourself from being photographed. All right?
It's not about that. It's about, I saw myself in that picture, and I'm like, wow, that's
cool.
what I do now. That's that's my thing. I flip off whoever was it I can't Espindola or whoever.
Yeah, who cares?
I can't remember who it was, but I'm part of this now.
Yeah.
That felt like, when they're booing at somebody, I want to flip off a Red Bulls player and call him a wanker or whatever, just like because, and again, growing up with a lot of English soccer on TV, that was like, we knew about the hooligan culture and we knew about all of that sort of stuff, for all of its good and bad sides. And there was just something about that just felt like I'm home. Like I'm really getting a kick out of this. And there's still a part of me that does that. And I may have mellowed over the last couple of years, the things that I've seen and watching my kids growing up and thinking I got to be a good role model and all of that crazy, stupid adult stuff.
Well, I have a little bit of advice for you, Greg. If you ever
Sorry,
find
good.
yourself in another picture at Crew Stadium or Monterey Stadium, I'm sorry, don't acknowledge you can enjoy the fact that you're in the picture and go inwardly say, I like that. That's cool. It's a moment. I'm glad I can look back on that picture and remember how I used to be.
Yeah.
Don't acknowledge it publicly.
Don't tag yourself in it. No.
Nope. Don't put it on Twitter. If somebody asks you about it, just pretend like you have no idea what they're talking about.
Does that look like me? Wow.
So you weren't at that game. They must have photoshopped you in.
Yeah. How dare they?
How dare you?
And I say keep flipping people off because those kids of yours are going to do it anyways, whether they see you doing it or
Oh,
not.
no, they absolutely will.
Yeah. Their father's Australian. It's inevitable.
There is some kind of inherent uncouthness, whatever that word would be.
Yeah. To finish up my earlier train of thought about getting involved when I didn't want to, let me tell everybody out there, you can do it, guys. Just don't get involved. Succeed where I failed, and don't go to. I'll just go to I'll go to this Norin Tour meeting. I'll keep my mouth shut, just like I always have. I'll just bitch on Twitter. I'll just be that guy. Don't speak up. Don't say anything. Don't say, oh, I have an idea of how we can improve it. Don't get involved. This is obviously a joke. If you have things to contribute, please do get involved.
Yeah.
Last question for you, Greg.
Sure.
And then we can break. What the hell happened to your accent? When did you lose it? Because you can kind of hear traces of it.
It was actually, serious answer, it was actually very, very early after I moved to the U.S. And it was only because my now ex-wife was from Sandusky, and it was a small town. And see, here's the funny thing. This may sound weird. I use this in my stand-up sets sometimes, that I consider myself a stealth immigrant. Like, I'm the immigrant you don't see coming until you hear me speak.
Until you're dead.
Well, there's that too, right?
Yeah.
Till the knife
Yeah.
is in your bag.
It's a knife joke because I'm Australian, and that's never.
Why do you
happened
think you're here, Greg?
on a
John and I
soccer
have a whole
podcast.
box
We
of
literally
things.
led the segment with we're interviewing foreigners.
Yeah.
Right. That's
John
true.
and I have accumulated a box of crap in the last 2 weeks that we're not sure if they're knives or not. So we're going to need you
I'll
to
look into
identify
it for
them.
you during the break.
But when you talk to your family, do they go, Greg, got to ask you, mate, like, what happened to your accent, mate? You've completely lost it.
Was it a conscious choice or just something that happened?
There was a part of it that was a conscious choice because, you know, when I talk about the stealth immigrant, I mean, I don't look like I'm from a foreign country to most Americans, and to particularly a small town like Sandusky where it's very white bread and very insular, and I look just like everybody else. And when you're from out of town, or when you're an outsider in a small place like that, you're ostracized and you're treated differently. And I didn't want to be treated differently, so I'd grown up with American accents on TV. I'd heard them in movies and music, and so it was really easy for me to sort of take the edge off the Aussie accent, pronounce my R's, you know, stretch my accent out a little bit. You know, because, you know, the kid at the drive-thru is not going to know, and
Right.
whoever.
Well, all you've succeeded in doing is giving yourself a really weird, unplaceable accent. Because
I'm good with that.
Yeah, like,
I'm okay with that.
and I've been friends with you long enough now where I can say this to you. I promise everybody listening, all the tens of you out there, that I'm not offending Greg right now.
No, you're absolutely not.
Very good friends, and even though he's a giant piece of shit, I can say that to him and he won't be offended, even though it's true.
Australians have incredibly thick skin, mostly because we have
Mating with wombats.
We have there's that. There's three things. There's the mating with wombats. There's the fact that we have a sense of humor about ourselves, and there's the perpetual sunburn.
Yeah, that's true. And spiders, lots of spiders there.
Lots of spiders.
But you have a really weird accent. It's kind of unplaceable, and I hope that you play it up sometimes, at least to get ladies.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. When I'm drinking, when I'm really angry, or when I'm trying to get.
Yeah. When you go home or you talk to people from home, does it come back out immediately?
It depends. Yeah, it does. It depends on who I'm talking to and what I'm talking about.
What's your real accent at this point?
My real accent is exactly how I'm speaking right now.
So do you have to consciously use this voice right now, or is it just
No,
it's natural?
This is
at this
second
point?
nature to me now.
Okay.
And it's sort of like you described, Morgan. It's a bit of a hybrid.
Yeah.
And I have to consciously go one way or the other. I can do either or.
Yeah.
But, like it depends on.
It's hard for me to figure out your accent also because I hear you speak every day. And it's
That's
like,
true.
if, like your girlfriend, like, you haven't said anything about my hair being super long now. You're like, I live with you every day. I don't notice hair growing.
Yeah.
If I saw you one October and then the next October and you didn't get a haircut, I'd be like, oh, your hair's a lot longer.
Yeah.
So I can't say whether or not your accent's super weird, if you sound like you're from Australia, if you're dangerous, or if children should stay away from you, but I would err on the side of caution, and kids, stay away from Uncle Greg. He is a lunatic, possibly.
Especially if he refers to himself as Uncle Greg.
Yeah, he does that when the microphones aren't on. Thank you for telling your story, Greg.
Thank you for allowing me to.
Yeah.
That was, I appreciate it.
All of the eye bleeding that happened after the first time we talked about it was just contractually obligated bleeding.
Yeah.
There we go.
The story was fun.
The classic bait and switch.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here on ACES Radio.
Thank you.
And I mean, John might not say it a lot, but he loves you. Mm-hmm. And he's proud of the man you've become.
It's the reason my hand's been on your thigh this whole interview.
Yeah, don't drink from his breast. I know he's trying to make you do that.
No,
you can't. So John, put that thing away. This is the second segment in a row we've ended talking about John bringing out parts of his body. It's very exciting.
I'm doing the third segment in the nude.
We have nowhere to go but down, so tune in to segment 3 of ACES Radio. Coming up, we have no idea what we're going to talk about. Does it really matter? Is anybody still listening right now? Probably not. We'll be back after a word from our corporate sponsor, Blood Urine.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Now we blasting off into the ozone. The way we kick it in the dojo is local for show. That we paving the road that's opposed to the dojo. Going over your head like a top hat. Stop that. I know you hear me spitting these hot raps. Now watch that beat, cause it's about to drop. The Rockets is the 09 jump off. Yeah, your last name Pan, first name Peter. I know you see me playing and you want me to teach you, but I say elevated so that all God's creatures can hear me shout it out like my name is Aretha. Getting RESPECT. Fly by, see the looks on your faces, cause I'm in full EFFECT. sweating on a daily basis. David F. Man, don't stop. David, won't stop. He came to rock it till the city takes off.
Welcome back, everybody. John has put away his man breast, and we are feeling stronger and more clothed than ever. Thank you, John, for doing that again. I really appreciate it. Even though we're not, streaming this via some sort of YouTube-type application, the listeners want no part of your exposed breastises.
One day there'll be video, and you'll thank me.
No, I certainly won't. Big breaking news here, guys. ACES Radio, of course, is the name of this program. It is named after Tony ACES himself, a.k.a. Anthony Precourt. Yeah.
So me shooting down 5 Japanese pilots on the way over here was pointless.
No, that's also part of it.
Oh, okay.
But Anthony Precourt himself has called me and left a message. I wasn't at my phone because we were on break. I'd like to play that for our listeners now. This is Anthony Precourt himself wishing ACES Radio well. Here we go. See, it's him. Yeah. Like he probably, he's talking as if he just bought the team, but he's just saying, John, I'm still excited about my involvement in ACES Radio or Columbus Crew, as he's calling it.
We talked about it on episode 1. He's not a great public speaker.
No,
so
he's
this
really
is
not.
fine.
Yeah.
This makes sense.
And it really touches my soul that he took the time to record that just for me, just on my cell phone. So, that's more. He wants to know me. That's true. And ACES Radio, he means. Thanks.
And ACES Radio.
And ACES Radio. Yeah. And ACES Radio.
Yeah.
Crew SC.
Caressy.
Yeah. Together as one.
For Columbus.
Hashtag.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Call him directly.
Talk to Morgan.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you hear that little bit there at the end about how he appreciates my bear skin?
Yeah. He did. Is that what he said?
That's
I thought
what
he
he
said
said.
call 447.
No, you
crew.
were talking over it.
Oh,
but he
shit.
said more exposing of John's body.
Well, we should probably call 614-447 crew.
I don't think we need
should-
to verify. I think we should just take him at his word.
We could do that, but I like it when somebody can back up what they say. I'm a man of integrity.
I think we should just trust him on this.
And I relate to other men.
Really,
of
because I
integrity.
feel like we should call. I mean, I really do, John, because, it's important to do things.
Well, you're the one with the Starship Enterprise in front of you.
Oh, we're calling? Okay.
We're calling.
Yeah. Greg, do you speak Spanish?
No, lo siento.
God damn it.
I don't think you're going to be able to get to him this way.
Well, we're going to try. How do you spell ACES?
ASEZ.
R-E. Let's try that. Oh.
I was wrong.
There it is.
That wasn't his voice.
No. Well, yeah, it was. It's when all that helium was in there.
Who was that?
No one knows who you are.
Sorry, Chris.
One. Here we go. What if this goes to a cell
One of
phone?
the answers. Is he going to
I'm
answer?
going to hang up immediately.
He might be on
Oh,
the
no.
West Coast and 3 hours behind, so this is a normal time.
Like if we weren't recording.
Does
it.
he have an office at the stadium?
The gear shop? I don't know how businesses work.
Sits at Rose's desk.
Anthony Precourt.
Did he hire a housekeeper?
I have no idea. Oh, hey, Aces, it's me. I just got your voicemail. Just wanted to say, right back at you. Thank you for welcoming us to the community. And we are also excited about the future. And we definitely plan on renewing our ticket memberships at some point. We get paid next week, so it'll probably be around then. If you have any questions, you can call me at 614-447-CREW. And you can just talk to Lauren Pioli. She can get you tickets. She's real good at what she does. Anyway, wanted to thank you again, buddy. Can't wait to have you back on the show. Didn't get to the phone, but we played your voicemail, and we're really excited about everything. Hope you have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll talk to you real soon. Bye. That was fun.
That's gonna.
That was great.
Yeah.
He is going to be so unbelievably confused.
See, at the very least, when we did the dry run of this off the air, at least the member of the front office who got the phone call knows you by voice.
See, now you're making it seem like we planned this, and we didn't. We did
No.
not. We were just prank calling Clark Beacom.
Earlier, yeah. That's
Yeah.
the
Right,
dry
of
run
course.
was just a.
Yeah.
That's Australian speak because everything in Australia is a dry run because we're a desert
There's
island.
no water.
That's the joke.
Of course, just like San
Exactly.
Jose.
See, there you
I
go.
get it now.
There you
That
go.
is another John Clem reference. San Jose last year, he started at, we were losing and down a man because I think Awful got red carded or somebody did. No. Waylon. And he was like, "Where's your water? Where's your water?" Because they're in drought in California.
drought. I got it.
because human tragedy is
Celebrity fan John Clem is not to be trusted. He's awful. So basically,
we traded him to New York for future considerations.
no, none of that. We just gave him to New York.
Yeah, we just kind of.
Yeah.
It's one of those moves where you cut like a cancer from the locker room.
Ham sandwich in
Did
return.
we even get allocation money?
Does allocation money exist as a thing, Greg?
Not really.
Exactly. No. So this is what we do when the crew don't have a game this weekend. However, there is so we have no film to break down, as we're known to do here at ACES Radio. But there is a national team game. National is how you say it in America, Greg.
Yes.
United States versus Guatemala is coming up on Tuesday, John. I want to hear from you on what you think about that. Thank you.
Okay.
That was great. Dynamite dropping.
I don't know. It's really early. It's a game we should win.
Is it?
The first leg is this Friday in Guatemala.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is early qualifying stuff. I don't really care.
Who cares?
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said,
I don't care.
I don't think I'm going to the game.
Yeah. Greg?
I'm definitely not going to Guatemala, which
That's good.
Which, by the way, is Spanish for bad guata.
That's not true.
No.
It's absolutely
I
not.
thought we covered
I
the
think
fact that you
it's-
don't speak Spanish.
Yeah,
No.
we talked about that.
Yeah.
No, it's everything I know about Spanish I learned from my kids watching Dora. So it's not much.
And the Police Academy movies.
And the Police Academy movies.
Yeah.
I would go if the tickets weren't so expensive, but I feel like they're out. They're pricing themselves out.
Here's one of the
You're talking about Guatemala here, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
yeah. Here's one of the things that
Those flights are not cheap.
I will never understand this about you, John. All of the you and I have worked together on many a Tifo Sweat project.
Yeah.
And you will frequently spend every day for 1 week to 2 months before a game working on a project for a game that you're not going to go to.
Yeah, I've
because
done that a couple
you either have to
times.
work or you're just not interested, like this Guatemala game, because you're a communist. If I weren't going to the game, there would be literally no chance in hell that I'd be working on a Tifo project.
Well, it's a good thing that you go to every game then, because we can't do TIFO without you.
Someday we're going to have a warehouse that's not my office.
Yeah, I look forward to that day.
Oh, my God.
I think the guys in the warehouse look forward to that day too.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
no, dude. I love coming to – because – okay, so
Like, that probably spices up their work day.
no, but the thing is, like, they never know about it because I have to get here at the butt crack of dawn to move things. Yeah, pity me. I need your pity. It's my sustenance.
I tried to pull out my titty earlier and you didn't want it.
Yeah, no, that's not what I meant.
Oh.
Yeah. No.
It's not how it works.
No.
That's not how any of this works.
No, but seriously.
Pity with a P.
Oh, with a P.
Yes.
Oh.
Dirtbag.
P, urine, the sponsor. Okay,
Yes,
I
yeah.
got it.
Stay on point, John. They're
Sorry.
paying us to be shills, not confused.
Ugh.
Want to thank Kevin Glenn, one of the leaders of American Outlaw Columbus, AO Columbus, as it
Ayo.
were. AO. As a side point, American Outlaws is a pyramid scheme for sure. Want to thank Kevin Glenn of the local pyramid scheme chapter of American Outlaws for basically volunteering us to do a project for
Yeah, thanks
this
for
game.
that. Really
Yeah.
love that.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks. The view from under the bus is lovely at this time of
Yeah,
year, Kevin.
it's great. So today we, and I use the term we very loosely. We cut and sewed fabric together for this project, and the plan as of now, and I know that I'm going to be vilified for talking about this outwardly. It's not like the Facebook group isn't public now.
Loose lips sink ships.
That's right. The plan is to paint Tifo at the stadium on Saturday. I have not cleared that with the front office at all. So that's just that's a loose plan, Greg.
But you and Aces are like that.
Well, yeah, he calls me.
As soon as he gets your
Yeah.
voicemail, he's gonna know.
Yeah.
What's up?
You're gonna know.
For
Sure,
sure.
guys, come on in. Do whatever.
Speaking of that, and there's no topic for this segment, so feel free to talk about whatever you want. When we were driving back from our shenanigans in Chicago last year when we did 312 for Crew SC, we were I was falling asleep at the wheel and needed to do something to keep myself awake, so I prank called, left awful, terrible voicemails.
Yeah, we did the entire front office.
Oh, and I left one for, I think it was pre-court, pretending. No, it was.
You did. Are you talking about the cat?
The one where I invented this scenario where once a month Greg Berhalter and Anthony Precourt have a hot tub party.
Oh, the hot tub party. Was it you left? Was it Lambo?
Yes,
I think
that's
that
who it
was Lambo's voicemail.
No, okay, so I left a message for Lambo, for Andy Loughnane, pretending to be Anthony Precourt, and it was like the scene was, so they have this monthly soiree, like a sexy party, where they have like hot tubs and they have cigars and brandy, and the thing was every time they plan it, like Greg is just humoring Lambo is just humoring Aces, and he's never actually going to come. So every month, Aces leaves a voicemail like, "Dude, I thought you were going to come this week, man. It's just for real. I got all this cool
Because
stuff."
Aces is Frankie Haydock now.
Right.
Apparently.
I just want to make
Well,
sure
when
you know
he's
how
when he's all liquored up with brandy,
That's true.
he gets a lot looser.
and hot-headed from the tub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He,
Everybody becomes Frankie Haydock at that certain
true.
point. There's a tipping point after which you just become
yeah.
Frankie.
So every month he calls and leaves a Lambo voicemail, just making sure that he didn't get lost. Like, it's fine, come this time, next time for sure. But if you're lost, man, just call me. Oh man, I'm so wasted. This hot tub is so hot in here. Oh man.
Do we have the tape by any chance?
Katie Mitchell has it, I believe.
I think so.
And there are a lot of them. Like I left a message for Dan Lally pretending to be his old elderly Jewish mother.
That one was good. Oh no, you did it for it probably took over an hour or so of drive time to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because every time we call, you got to go through the electronic,
Yeah.
get into each voicemail.
Yeah.
Everything that you just heard.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was still that same recording, like, woo! Thanks for calling the crew, bruh. So the next morning, like, I just assumed that, I'd be getting these calls like, all right, Morgan, you got to step it back a little bit, brother. Like, we're glad that you're a fan, but you just need to.
You've crossed the line.
Yeah. You said some very terrible stuff.
You need to stop hanging out here.
I got one message, and it was from JP Lococo, and he was pretty pissed.
We didn't call him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, everybody got voicemails but me. This is ridiculous.
JP, who, by the way, just got engaged.
That's right. Congratulations to
Congrats.
celebrity fan JP Lococo.
Yeah.
Your fiance's making a terrible choice.
Yeah.
She will live to regret
I'm
that.
assuming she was drunk when he asked.
Yeah. And it is in Bridgeview, so,
Right.
She was Frankie at that point.
That's true. And he was Duncan. Greg and I actually have thought, now that there's no topic for this segment, Greg and I
Why not just throw this one out there too?
We've
Sure.
always wanted to do this for like
Ever since we met.
4 months ago when we came up with this idea of doing Adventures of Frankie and Duncan.
Yes.
Where they're just, like they plan to go somewhere and do something specific, like a charity function or some sort of
Legitimate things.
and they just end up in absurd scenarios, like their Uber driver runs over someone and then they get drunk. Like it's always some crazy thing happens, but they just end up getting drunk.
Spoiler alert, drunkenness
Yeah.
happens at the end.
Yeah.
Every episode.
And we always and then we talked about doing a fake Duncan Otten hosted show because Greg can do a New Zealand accent because Australia is a small fishing village off of New Zealand, and where it would be like Duncan this week Duncan welcomes in blah blah blah. This kind of got ruined when Duncan has started his own show, Soccer and Beer.
Yeah.
But every week Frankie would come on and tell the actual story about how it's like, hey, let's talk about that time in Toronto where Hesma scored that goal. And Frank's like, yeah, dude, remember afterwards, like, we went out to the bar and just got cake wasted, bro. Someday we'll do that. Now that we have this fantastic outlet.
What's disappointing is that when you call the crew front office, they have an option to press 9 for Spanish.
Yeah.
But there's no option to press 6 for New Zealander.
That's right. Is that what they sound like?
What?
That's exactly what they
What
sound
was
like.
that?
That's
Which
what it is.
part was
Here's-
that? Where was
here's
the
thing.
number in there?
The number was 6, but here's the thing about the New Zealand accent. True story, because
Tell
we
us.
have no topic.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah.
Is that none of the vowels get pronounced the way that they should. So I
Says the
sound like
Australian.
Yous and okay.
Don't you
compared
you
to-
guys shorten every word too? Is that a thing? Is that a real thing that you
we
guys do?
tend to diminutize a lot of different words. Like everything is just shortened to the point. Like, I remember hearing a stand-up comedian use this one time. He talked about we talk about motorcycle gangs as bikies. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
we
good.
put we put E's on the end of everything.
That's
know?
like baseball nicknames in the clubhouse. Everyone's E on the end. It's your full name, but then it's like Hughes E,
Yeah.
Zadari, Benson E. Like,
But what
dude,
we do
think
is
a little bit. Come on.
Yeah.
we'd take, but with names we'd take we'd put an O on the end of everything and make sure it's one syllable. Like you'd be
Grego.
Jono, or I'm Benno because my last name is Benson, or you'd be Morgo.
Yeah.
You know,
You know what's really funny about that, Greg, is
Finally,
no
it's a
one
male
cares.
version.
Right.
This is the
Right, but-
worst. God, John, why do we invite him on this?
why did you?
I told you it's a terrible idea, buddy. I told you it was to get Greg on here. And
I mean,
or Andy Loughnane would be Lambo. Oh, never mind.
this is not sponsorship blood, Greg.
this is board blood
This
again.
is painful blood.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the New Zealand
Oh, that
accent
didn't
is just
sound
really
good.
weird, and they don't pronounce vowels the way that they should.
So
And
we
so
have
yeah.
this. I don't. Did
So
we even?
we're taking the Mitsubishi out for fish and chips.
Jesus.
That's how a New Zealander
I have
actually
no idea
talks.
what's happening.
Yeah, we should cut him from the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
buddy.
we'll just mute that channel in post production.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Did I finish my train of thought about what we're doing on Saturday? We're going to try to paint in the parking
We're
lot.
painting in the parking lot.
Okay.
Yes.
We don't have clearance, but we'll get it.
Yeah.
So what
Or
time are
not.
we starting? So that anyone who wants to help,
That's a great question, John. I have no idea. Yeah.
why don't we?
It's supposed to be 60 degrees and sunny.
So what ways can they find out since we can't tell them right now?
Oh, God damn it. Send an email.
right?
We said TiVo Sweat was dead. Send an email to tivosweat@tivosweat.com, and I will add you to the distribution list. Mm-hmm. And you can, more importantly, if anybody's interested in being the person who organizes TiVo Sweat, that position is now available.
If you'd like to take an active role in leadership for TiVo Sweat,
Yes.
please.
Let's say, you know what? Hey, do you need to lose 20 pounds? Mm-hmm. Do lead one TiVo Sweat project.
Are you desperate for adult onset acne?
Oh, my God.
That's not where I thought you
Just
were going. with
ravage
that.
your face.
Oh, yeah. Every TiVo
You
Sweat.
had me. Are you desperate for
Well, it's
adult?
filthy, and
then,
you're sweaty. And
Well, I've
you're,
just
like, touching
finally
your
cleared
face.
mine up, and now here we go again.
Yeah. It's taken an entire off season.
Yeah. So do the email. We have a Twitter
Yeah.
at Tifo Sweat.
At TiVo
There's a
Sweat.
Facebook group that
No,
you can join that
no.
I curate.
No, don't join that.
But it really isn't. All that ever really gets posted there is just
Nothing happens. on
copies
that
of the.
anymore.
I copy the email.
Oh, you do? Still?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you,
Well, not
John.
today.
Good.
I just realized. But
Oh, sending that email is the worst.
if you're in the email, that's all you need.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Go and sign up.
That's a thing that you want to do.
I'm trying to pass it off to Crew Union. I've put Norantor in their plate. TiVo Sweat's next. Yeah. Soon we can all just retire to Crew Cat's litter box, which is a real place in the stadium. For those who
is.
didn't know it, there's a TiVo Sweat before Dos Acero last time. We tested the banner. Let's say the game was on Wednesday. Tested the banner Tuesday, and we went to fold it up and put it in the shed that is there for supporters, and it started melting because it was so hot. And
The
we're
shed
like,
started melting.
the banner and the shed.
Yeah.
And we said to the front office, is there anywhere we can put this, in an abandoned office that Kevin Burns once used? I have no idea. But we can't put this outside. And they're like, no, I mean, it's Dos Acero. Pretty much every space in the stadium is being taken up.
Yeah.
But you could theoretically use the mascot dressing room, which is an amazing place because all of the old Crew Cat is there. All of them. The old heads are just, sitting in weird lockers that are open. It feels like Detroit from RoboCop in there. Some dystopian future locker room where there's just severed heads of animal, human, cats.
We got to get back in there.
Yeah.
We should do a video tour.
That's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. Except this is a podcast,
Yeah.
so it'll be a really
Well, you already played
Boring
one
video.
video clip today,
yeah.
so
Yeah, we can do it. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
So should
So
we?
this just became a YouTube show, apparently.
I mean,
we'll just point the.
we
video
don't
camera.
have Blood and Urine are pretty good sponsors, Greg. They really let us do whatever we want. They're just happy to be associated with such a high class
Yeah.
production.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no budget.
right.
It's very highbrow here.
Sky's the limit.
I've
Yeah.
noticed
They'll throw
that.
money at us for days.
There is a budget, but you can't count that high.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there is a when I said no, there's no budget. I guess I made it sound like
There's no realistic
no
budget.
money.
Yeah,
No, what he meant was there's no limit.
Yeah, the budget is
Right.
unlimited.
yeah,
There's no ceiling.
You ask
to
if there's
the-
a budget, and there may as well not be one.
yeah. So segment 3 is the one we always try to keep real short, right?
Yep.
So
Are we
we're-
at that point?
Yeah, we're well past it.
Well, we've been rambling for quite some time.
Should we do? Why would anybody listen to this? By the way, like this is the worst. We're so off topic. The train is the train derailed like halfway through segment 1.
Do we have anything else to say about the U.S. game or anything like that?
I don't.
Except that we might actually see crew player versus crew player.
Yeah, that's true. That'll
That'd
be
be
the first
cool.
time.
That's true.
How cool would that be?
Who is the crew player in question for those of us who
Rodrigo.
Saravia.
Yeah.
Saravia
Serbia and
Serbia.
Finley.
and,
You got
and
the
Ethan
call.
Finley.
That'd be pretty cool.
Would it?
Yeah.
I think it would.
Like in a real way?
It'll
or
be
in-
really cool in the game that I won't be at.
Yeah, you won't be there. AO is having a pre-party on Monday night at 4th Street Bar and Grill. As much shit as I talk about American Outlaws, which is all deserved. Go hang out with everybody. It's a good time. Lexi Lawless might stand on top of a beer truck again.
Despite what you may think about the collective, there is actually some very cool people.
Yeah, no, that's what sucks about AO. The worst is, AO National is just a horrid pyramid scheme. But like AO Columbus
Local.
is run by 2 of our friends.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
we can't talk. I mean, we can talk shit about them. Brock and Kevin
Another
are terrible
person,
people.
Brock, who got married this week.
Yeah.
Congrats to them too.
So they're having a party on Monday night, and they're also having a watch party on Friday night at 4th Street Bar and Grill. You can go get one of the Kevin Glenn designed scarves, which
they're
look
They
fantastic.
are beautiful.
Yeah, he also designed the crew union.
I think there are posters and shirts also.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. That, like idiots, they only had 100 made of each, so get
Oh.
there early. I don't know if we're.
Do you
kind of
wish that Kevin Glenn had actually designed the USA crest?
I like the USA crest.
I
don't care.
eh.
You know what? No, yeah, that's the answer. I don't care about it.
There we go.
Who cares? You want to do prediction?
For the U.S. game?
Yeah. John, back to you.
For both? Are we doing both games?
No.
Or just the one here?
Just one here.
I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah. Okay. Greg.
We'll
2
win.
Yeah, 2-1.
Yeah.
I think we'll win.
I think it's
Stands?
going to be. I think it's going to
Both?
be far too
Stands and
close.
field?
Yeah.
Yes. No. 7-4
In the stands. Nice.
Yes.
That's actually way closer than. It
Yeah,
should be.
that's.
Because
yeah.
the
Are
stands.
you expecting
tend
there to be a lot of Guatemalans?
Absolutely. The Guatemalan population in Central Ohio is enormous. I was about to say massive.
Ooh, you would have owed the front office $16.
I would have. Cough it up. My wallet's in my other pants. Sorry.
Non-approved use of a marketing term.
That's true.
Yeah, your season ticket membership is in danger, Greg.
Your season, your fan rating.
Yeah. I will predict purple.
We're doing that again, are we?
Yeah. And H.
Purple and H.
Yeah. No, I guessed H last time. M.
Were you right last time you guessed H?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, then why not guess it again?
That was my rating for the
First
new
of
crew
all,
jersey.
they're not guesses.
Yeah.
They're predictions.
They're based on data
He knew it was going to be H.
from Star Trek.
Then why are we even doing this? Why don't we just ask him?
He's
If he knows.
he's not always right.
That's not.
No, then he doesn't
not
know.
true either.
That's not.
So, let's stop doing this show now.
Let's wrap this up.
Thank you, Greg, for joining us again. We look forward to having you back next week. If there is a show, this could possibly be the last episode of ACES Radio you ever listen to. John, thank you for joining us. You can find John on Twitter at TheZadar. You can find you can find Greg on Twitter at Gregulator614. And if you're at Hendog's Pub, you might be sitting on him because he's a local drunk.
New twist on an old favorite.
Yeah, my name is Nordex Celebrity Morgan Hughes. You can find me on Twitter at Morgan_Hughes. For all the rest of the celebrity fans in this room right now, thanks for wasting another hour and a half listening to ACES Radio. Maybe next week you'll make a better choice with your life. Shame on you. We'll talk to you next time.